Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are a new subscriber, thank you. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. I release videos once or twice a week and I cover a wide variety of topics. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe. I talk about luxury, I talk about career, I talk about lifestyle. I do lifestyle vlogs, I talk about self-improvement. So yeah, be sure to come back and hit the subscribe button and keep coming back and hitting the subscribe button and share this channel with your friends and your co-workers and your besties and your entire squad, okay? Great, so today I will be talking about self-improvement basically. You know how a lot of people go on and they're like, I am a grown woman, I am so grown, I can do this, I can do that, I'm this and that and the third, and yeah, and that's great, but being grown really has to do with a whole lot more than just being 25 and up, or just being 30 and up, or just being 35 and up. So today I'm going to be discussing 7 ways you can be grown, act grown, and stay on your grown woman SHIT. Okay, so if you want to get the respect that you deserve, that you demand, there's certain things you have to make sure you do in your life. There's certain things you have to make sure your life embodies, your character embodies, your interaction with other people embodies, and I'm here to share those things with you. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing you need to embody in order to stay on your grown woman SHIT is stand in your truth, flaws and all. Sometimes some people's journeys are not the best. Lord knows I haven't had the perfect journey. If you sit down and hear about my life, I've had trials and tribulations. It's been up and down, back and forth. And I do not regret any decision that I've made in the past, simply because I have made that decision based on how I was feeling at that time. And at that time, that was the best decision for me. That was the best decision for my family members. That was the best decision for me at that time. And I own that. So part of just being grown is standing in your own truth, owning things you've done in the past, taking responsibilities for those actions, the good and the bad, the great and the not so great. Own it. It's part of your journey. For example, someone like Jay-Z, he doesn't make light of the fact that he started out, slanging dope, when he was a kid. But he's been able to talk about that, accept that fact, and now he's a multi-millionaire. He's a billionaire, if you will. So don't shy away from the unpleasant parts of your past, if you will. Stand in your truth. Your entire journey and your entire truth is not something that is one-sided. It's not linear. Make sure you understand that and own it. Just own it and stand tall in it. Another way you can really embody the act of being grown is getting used to saying no. I think I've mentioned this in another video. The ability to say no, a complete resounding no, with no explanation, with no, well, you understand, or I'm sorry, but no, not even an apology. Just state what it is. Just state no and keep it moving. Someone asks you a favor, can you not do it? If you find you cannot do it, just say no, I cannot do it. Someone needs you to be somewhere at a certain time and you can't do it. Just state, I'm not going to do it. Simply because if you're not assertive with your boundaries, if you're not assertive with your life, and you apologize for saying no, people will try to take advantage of that. You won't be seen as fully matured as you're trying to portray, and it just seems as though you're fickle. Being grown deals with taking responsibility and owning up to things and just being firm and assertive, and saying no has everything to do with that. So get used to saying no, okay? Be sure to add that into your vocabulary. A huge resounding no. N-O with a period. That's it. No comma, no semicolon, no apostrophe, nothing. Complete no and keep it moving. Another way you can really embody being a grown woman, being on your grown woman SHIT, is to understand the concept of self-care. I've done a video about self-care. Self-care is very multifaceted. Self-care is so much more than just taking a bath or having a glass of champagne. Self-care requires you to do some inner work in yourself. Self-care requires you to take a step back and understand how the world perceives you, and whatever actions you may be taking to either semi-consciously perpetuate those stereotypes or even magnify them, if you will. So be sure to follow the steps I enumerated in my video about what self-care truly is: taking responsibility, taking inventory, doing all that, and also putting yourself first. That's very important, because if you don't put yourself first, you are going to be emptying yourself out to everyone, your careers, your family members, loved ones, and then you pouring out from an empty well. So be sure to do what makes you happy. Be sure to do what preserves your soul. Be sure to do what replenishes your soul, if you will, and take it from there. So another way to ensure that you stay on your grown woman SHIT is definitely to understand the entire concept of self-care and to embody it. Another way we can really magnify this concept of being a grown woman is to toot your own horn. A lot of women, especially in the workplace, tend to shy away from opportunities that require them or mandate them to sell themselves or toot their own horn. I toot toot. Within seconds of meeting me, you will know I'm an attorney. You may know that I'm an immigrant. You will know that I've been struggling, that my life hasn't been perfect. I tell my story to anyone who's willing to listen. The same as you guys, my followers, my subscribers, you guys probably, sorry, I'm not sure you can hear that, but my neighbors are being really extra loud tonight. So I'm just going to try to talk louder and hopefully we can drown them out. Okay, I think you're done. But yeah, be sure to share your stories, share your accomplishments with other people, especially either your employers or your supervisors, your co-workers. Let people know how far you've come. Let people know your journey. Let people know the obstacles you've not only trampled over, but you've crushed. Let them know what it takes to be you. That way, there will be A, more understanding, or B, you just get to live your life in a way that you know the people who are around you know what you've been through. Humility is great. Humility is a virtue, but you have to make sure you're not underselling yourself under the guise of you just being, humble. Humility is great. Be humble. Kendrick Lamar said it. Be humble. Sit down. But still, there are times in life where you need to be proud and stand up. And if you're being grown, you're asserting your grownness, if you will, especially as a woman, especially as a minority or a person of color, be sure to state that. Toot your own horn. Talk about your struggles. Talk about your accomplishments. Talk about your obstacles. Who cares if it happened 20 years ago? It happened to you. Who cares if it happened 50 years ago? It happened to you. So be sure to sell that, okay? Be sure to make sure that's a part of your narrative. Be sure to make sure the people you deal with, the people you encounter, know that you've done this. I always tell people, whenever I talk to them, I passed the bar exam in one sitting. Not that it's unexpected, it's just that there's some people who did not. And I know the amount of sacrifice I had to make on a professional level, on a personal level, on a financial level, on a social level, just to make sure I can accomplish that, just to make sure I can achieve that. And then when I did achieve it, remind me again why I shouldn't toot my own horn and share the good news. Absolutely not. There's no reason not to. So be sure to do that. It's part of you being grown. It's part of you owning your SHIT, and it's part of you just living in the truth of who you are. In the same light of tooting your own horn, the next thing I would advise you to do is just speak up. And this is beyond you being bullied at work. If you're at a dinner party with friends and folks are talking and you're quite introverted, speak up. The worst that would happen is you'll crack a bad joke. Okay, who cares? It'll be forgotten in 10 seconds. You're not going to go around the rest of your life with a scarlet letter in your head. Although you may feel that way internally, but it's not that serious really. The same principle applies to work. If you feel like you're treated unfairly, or if you feel like the project should be handled in a different manner, go ahead and state it. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Be sure to state your piece. Be sure to speak your clout. Let people know that you are there. Let people know you're willing to help. This is with regards to the workplace, obviously. Let people know you're not just a warm body. Or if things are not going the way you like them to, be sure to address that as well. Being passive also has its benefits, but definitely not when you're trying to excel. If you're trying to be passive aggressive and just hoping things will fall into place, then maybe this channel isn't a channel for you, because there's nothing passive about me. There's nothing passive about how I see things. Now, I do have my passive moments when I pick my battles and I try to figure out, is this worth doing now, or should I think about this later? Definitely. But in a grand scheme of things, I am not a passive person. I am very, not quite in your face, but I am there. You will feel my presence when I walk into a room and when I'm around people, because that's just who I am. So be sure to speak up amongst friends. If someone's not doing something right, or not treating you right at work, or you feel like a project is not properly handled, be sure to speak up. Speak up with tact, speak up assertively. A wise man once said, speak up even if your voice shakes. And I'll never forget that quote, because it actually did help me when I was asking for a promotion, which goes to my next point. If you don't value yourself, no one else is going to value you. So if you don't hold yourself to a higher standard, no one's going to hold you to a higher standard. If you don't market yourself, no one's going to market you. So in the same family of speaking up, if you feel as though you need a raise and you have worked for it, and it's part of what should be granted to you, be sure to ask for one. Now, don't get me wrong, the worst thing that would happen is they would say no, but at least it went on the record that you asked for one. And just don't go into the room asking, hey, I need a raise. No, absolutely not. Come in with a win folder. What is a win folder? It's a folder that I keep at work that has all my accomplishments. When a motion that I drafted or even worked on for like 10 seconds, whatever, is granted, I print it out and I put it in that folder. When the case is settled, put it in that folder. When the case is resolved, I put it in that folder. When I help create a strategy that turns out to be winning, or I help make an argument in a case that turns out to be, amazing or even clever, I put it in that folder. And then when it's time for my annual performance review, I take that folder with me and I discuss everything with my boss. Now, I'm saying that fluidly, not my current boss, is just how I've practiced overall. Now, there's some times that I haven't had to do that, and there's some times that I've had to do that even more so. But keep a folder of all your wins. That way, when the time is right, when you're going to demand a raise that you feel you deserve, you're well equipped, you have all the ammunition you need, and you can fire off. Let them know how much you value yourself and how much you value being a part of the team and how much you want to stay there, of course, if that's part of your plan. And letting them know the services you rendered. Keep in mind, people are going to forget the good things you did, but are always going to remember the bad things you did. So it is your responsibility and no one else's to keep track of all your good, to dispel whatever negative it is out there about you, and make sure that you excel in that regard. And also know that in a conversation like that, the answer may not be linear. For example, I remember in one job I asked for a raise simply because I felt as though the value I was providing the organization was not commensurate with the amount I was being paid. And I had the conversation with the partners, and eventually I didn't get a raise that day, but effective 90 days from then, I was going to get like a $10,000 raise, and after that, 6 months after that, I was going to get an additional 5, or maybe vice versa. Basically, I got a staggering raise, which over a period of time worked out. That's creative, that's a solution that you definitely can bring to your bosses. So let them know that if they are unwilling to give you the 5% raise, the 8% raise, however much percent raise at one time, let them know you're willing to receive something on a staggered basis. Something smaller in the next 90 days and 6 months after, with or without another secondary review, a guarantee of an increment as well. So you have to be creative with that. But all that goes with you valuing yourself and demanding in a professional setting your raise, your bonus, or higher compensation. Women make 75 cents each dollar men make. Out of that 75 cents, black women make only 6 to 9 cents out of the dollar other, women, either white women or Latino women make, simply because we just don't ask. We don't ask. We don't come well equipped, during discussions about promotions and raises and all that. We don't. We just wing it and we just accept whatever it is we're given, either because our income is supplemental to our husbands or our family members, but that's also not true because there are more women now who are single than they are married. It's just that we tend to not be welcome into those kind of conversations because they're awkward. No one likes to do it. But they're like annual exams, they're like pap smears, they're uncomfortable, they're gross. But get them done and keep it moving. So if you want to be fully grown, be sure to value yourself and demand a raise or performance bonus or performance evaluation in a way that's reflective of the work that you actually do, so you can get an increase in your salary and so you can feel more valued and empowered. The last tip I'll share with you today with regard to being grown and staying in the grown woman SHIT is understanding that vulnerability is a privilege. We are in a society where we pride ourselves to be emotionless. We pride ourselves to hustle, 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 and not pay attention to family members or friends. We pride ourselves to be so objective and not empathetic. But you as a human being and as a divine star that you are, can actually take a step back and be more empathetic. You can actually be more vulnerable or open to receiving other people how they are, because life will humble you. And if life hasn't humbled you yet, it is coming. This is not me being mean or me, speaking negative in your life. No, absolutely not. I want nothing but the best for you. But what I do know is life has a way of humbling people. It will bring the richest man onto his knees. And what that lesson is going to teach you is vulnerability. That you're vulnerable to failure, that you're vulnerable to fear, that you're vulnerable to heartbreak, that you're vulnerable to health issues. And when you know that, you then to operate from a place of more empathy. You know that nothing is guaranteed. You know that you could be the wealthiest man today and you could be indicted tomorrow. You know that you could be the healthiest man today and get into an accident and tomorrow you're paraplegic. You can be in a loving relationship today and tomorrow your spouse will wake up and say, I just don't love you no more. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. So if you operate from a state of vulnerability and you understand those concepts, not only are you going to be nice to people, you're going to be kinder to yourself. You're going to see life in a different way, and you're going to understand that a lot of the pettiness does not really matter. A lot of the trivial battles that we encounter does not really matter. So be sure to think about that and try to incorporate policies of vulnerability in your life. It could be anywhere from dealing with a driver who's not letting you pass, or who's being insufferable, or a mean coworker, or a family member who just doesn't get it, or a friend who is jealous or overbearing, or whatever the issue is. Just add a little dose of vulnerability to your interactions and watch things change. So guys, those are the 7 tips I'm sharing with you today that would help you embody the concept of being grown. I hope you like this video. If you do, be sure to give it a nice, huge, resounding thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I would like to see you here later. And if you do like this video, actually leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. And I will catch you guys in my next video. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you, and bye.